Hey guys! Ooh, a bee just flew right past my hand when I pulled out my phone. I'm just sitting at the Melville Pond here in Vaughan, Ontario. I am a 2-minute walk from Canada's Wonderland, as you have probably seen from all of my recent clips. And do I look like an absolute sweaty mess? I do, and that is because it is about 40 degrees Celsius outside, like 100, probably over 100 degrees Fahrenheit here in Vaughan or Toronto, Ontario-ish area. And oh my goodness, is it sticky. It is like the most humid day I've ever been experiencing ever, but I am a lizard person. You could call me a reptile, you could call me the Illuminati. Those would all be correct. And I enjoy just baking out in the sun, like my turtle. You can probably tell from this sunburn, even though I've put on sunblock literally 500 times today, SPF 50, as well as an SPF 30 that I reapply to my face, but I really just use both on my face. But yeah, it doesn't matter how much I've used sunblock the last couple days, still getting a sunburn. I don't know if you can tell on my face, but it was feeling very, very tight. Oh, did I just feel a drop of water? Is it gonna finally rain? Anyways, hello you guys. So I have been posting literally the last 24 hours. I posted nearly 5 hours worth of van life content. So the last several months of van life squished into like 5 hours of documentary type footage. If you want to watch it, go ahead. I know that most of you don't, since nobody's watching it anyways, but that's fine. No pressure. It's not very interesting, I don't think, if you're not planning on doing van life yourself, just living in a van. But that being said, I am taking a break from van life. I am here in Vaughan, Ontario. I have been staying with my friend Maxime, who I have known for 15 years. And I've basically been fixing my vehicle, catching up on all of my editing, and helping her as kind of like an assistant. So that is what I have been up to the last couple weeks. I finished up my acting portfolio, like I said in the last video, or my last update video, not the last 4 van life vlogs, but you know what I mean, I am sure. And yeah, I applied to a bunch of agencies. Did I apply to a bunch of agencies? That's kind of a lie. I applied to Noble Kaplan Abrams, which is an agency that I have applied to that does like commercial. They do principal work. They do, geez, they probably do theater. They don't do background, but like basically anything that you could do as a professional working paid actor, voice animation, like voice work, sorry, animation, voice work, commercial, all of that jazz. They do all of that, TV, film, you name it. So I applied to them. I did hear back from them. I had heard back from the main submission agency agent. His name is Rick. Hi Rick, if you're watching. And he said, definitely not watching, that he's going to submit my portfolio to everybody else in the office, and if I don't hear back, that it has nothing to do with my talent or abilities, which honestly, thank you. That goes above and beyond. Literally no agents say that ever. So that was very kind of him. I got the suggestion for Noble Kaplan Abrams from my friend Katie Martin, who I used to do theater with back in Grand Prairie. She played a monkey when we were doing The Jungle Book, and I was playing Bagheera, so that's where we first met. She was little. We ended up going to the same college. And then when I graduated college, well, we didn't go to the same college at the same time. We're several years apart. I ended up going to college at Sheridan, in which she followed my lead and went there as well. Took their degree program and graduated. Hi, Katie Martin. You're probably not watching this either, but shout out to Katie Martin if anybody else is watching and wants to check her out. I'm sure as another performer and entertainer that she would appreciate your follow. But that being said, we worked together on The Jungle Book. I have no idea what that animal is that just crawled out of the water. A muskrat? I don't even know. Anyways, my brain is all over the place today, which nothing new. But I just don't care anymore, and I don't care to edit these videos or make them look curated and perfected because nobody watches them anyways. By nobody, I mean those 5 of you that are amazing supporters of my channel. Love you the most. But for the rest of the 73,000 people that are subscribed to my channel, they don't watch unless I post something super curated and specific to their desires, because nobody cares about me, they just care about the content. Anyways, enough self-deprecating. I applied to this agency. I heard back from them. He's going to submit my information amongst the other agents at the office. I also applied to the Characters Talent Agency, which is an agency that my program head was a part of back when I was in prep at Sheridan. I never finished my story about Katie from 3 seconds ago. We ended up dancing at the same studio where I was teaching ballet. So if you guys remember when I started my Dance Coach Reacts series, if you are one of the people that watched that, I was teaching ballet at the Grand Prairie Dancers Academy. And then I started my Dance Coach Reacts series, I believe, right after that position, and then the studio closed down. But we had a studio head, Nancy Marie Rigler, Nancy Villegas, if any of you remember her from Grand Prairie way back in like the 90s and 2000s, but Nancy Marie Rigler, and she was my boss and the owner of the studio, and she taught me my private ballet lessons. And Katie, I believe, was teaching junior classes there. I could be wrong about that. And she was a senior dancer in her last year of high school while I was teaching at the studio. Then she went on to Sheridan, graduated with a degree in performing arts, musical theater, applied arts, I believe, is the degree that you graduate from Sheridan with now. And now she is a professional working actress. Actor is the term that we prefer to use. It's less sexist. And she has been in a lot of commercials. I've been seeing her in a lot of commercials personally without even having to look her up. So she's doing great. Kudos to Katie. Super proud of her. And I just saw this random animal again. I wish that you could see this far on my camera, but you cannot. It's crawling up the hill and has a long tail like a rat, but it looks like a beaver. I don't know. Maybe you know. But anyways, that is what I have been up to. Like I said, or was saying, I applied to the Characters Agency. That was the agency that represented my program head, Mark Malamick. Mark Malamick was a television and film actor. He also had a couple pilots that almost went into production or airing or whatever. They went into production, they were fully filmed. One of them, for example, Lizzie McGuire ended up booking the time slot on Disney Channel, but they were up in the running against Lizzie McGuire for pilots, and that was my program head at Sheridan when I was there. So he recommended Characters. We had the owner of the agency come in and speak to us while I was in prep, and then my friend Destiny Milnes in Vancouver. She's also an actress, and she is represented by them as well. So I applied to them, as well as an agency called Fusion, which is, I was personally kind of looking for like a boutique agency that was female fronted, because I personally would love to find an agent where they can be like my best friend and we can have a conversation like this where I can be myself and not like super business. And super business is fine too. That's how most agents operate. That's kind of the culture of being an agent, and that's fine. Business is business. But in 2024, the absolute ideal agent for me would be somebody that I could be friends with, somebody that has their finger on the pulse of pop culture, and I've never had an agent like that, so it would be cool. I know that there are lots of agents out there that exist that are like what I'm looking for right now, but I have not been signed by one. So Fusion Agency is two younger talents that are out of Kingston, they're out of Windsor, Ontario, and they represent talent both in Windsor and Toronto and everywhere in Ontario, because everything is now remote when it comes to at least the first steps of casting. So you basically submit a self-tape for most principal roles at this point, and then you don't actually have in-person auditions until usually final callbacks, or at least callbacks. Sometimes you get directly cast from a photo or a demo reel these days. A lot has changed since the pre-COVID days. before everybody went to working online, and there was a strike for ACTRA and so many different strikes in this industry. If you're part of the industry, if you know, you know. But yeah, those were the agencies that I have submitted to so far, and I have not been signed by anybody. I've only heard back from Noble Kaplan Abrams, so maybe somebody will reach out to me. That would be nice. If not holding my breath. It is what it is. That being said, I have been working pretty hard on my acting portfolio, working on monologues. I took all those headshots, I created the portfolio, I edited the 5 hours worth of YouTube footage, and I've been assisting Maxime, so I've basically been working non-stop. It's been great. We have this heat wave, like I said. It's been gorgeous. I'm a reptile. I love the heat, but I especially love being able to go sit by ponds like this and have literally nobody come out here. There hasn't been a single person this entire time that I've been out here, but also there hasn't been a single person any time that I've ever come to this pond, which is pretty good because I love having a moment to myself, which to me feels absolutely impossible in the Toronto area. And anytime that I lived in Toronto before, I could never get a moment to myself. So for me to actually be able to go down to this pond, film a video, have all this time by myself, is unheard of. But yeah, at this point, I feel as if I may be switching up my content to just whatever the fuck I feel like. I'm really done putting in so much effort for very little return on this channel. I've been working on this channel for 10 years. It's 10 years probably right about now. I started this channel in 2014. It's 2024. I put 4 years into getting an acting degree, or 2 college educations in acting. I put over 10, 15 years into the profession of acting, and dancing, and singing, and being a dance coach, and being a songwriter, and being a producer, and being a YouTuber, and being a content creator. But actually, being a content creator, it's been, I'm 34 now. It has been 20 plus years. Ever since there has been social media, I have been on a platform trying to create an audience, trying to create content, trying to create a name for myself, trying to create a brand. But at this point in my life, it is just so burning out. I don't know any other way to put that in a grammatically correct way, but to spend 60 hours plus working every single week, I've dedicated my entire life to the entertainment industry and creating content and creating a platform and creating an audience. I'm 34 years old. I've never got to be in a relationship. I do not have children. I have never been married because I've never been in a relationship. I'm talking 0 proper romantic relationship. That's just not been a part of my life. I am staying at a friend's right now. I don't own my own home. I don't own any property. I do have a vehicle, which I'm very grateful for. I'm not able to have that vehicle registered in this province because it was told to me that it would be an absolute write-off to try and do that. I would have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and the mechanic said that I might as well just buy a new vehicle. So I've been doing all the repairs on my vehicle and learning everything about vehicles myself. If you've been wondering why we've been doing that, that is why. That is why I still have Alberta plates. And, yeah, those documentaries that I make, I said in my last update video that I would let you guys choose whether I was going to do one on Audrey Hepburn, or Shirley Temple, or Celine Dion and her stiff person syndrome, and Drew Barrymore, but nobody replied, so I'm assuming that nobody wants to see any of those. The last documentaries that I made took me a very, 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 very long time. It's really hard to just look at the internet and see so many people criticizing your work and not watching your work, but more so just like every single criticism for your work that it's just like they stopped and watched 30 seconds before they just wrote you off as a person, wrote off your content entirely and your entire creative process. And they say, you know, don't worry about that, don't take it personally, but it's like, it's much easier said than done, especially from those channels that have never posted a piece of content. Like, it takes me weeks to create a documentary as one person. In the real world, documentaries are created by teams. If you watch the credits, it's usually hundreds of people. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Most documentaries take years. I create documentaries by myself. I will reference other people's videos sometimes, but I have no team that helps me with researching. I have no team that helps me with filming. Nobody helps me set up filming. I film everything by myself. I script everything by myself. I create the videos all by myself. I edit the videos for 14 hours a day, all by myself, usually sitting in the baking 110-degree heat inside my van, or editing inside a local McDonald's while a bunch of teenagers and old ladies and old retired folk that are there living on their comfortable boomer retirement just stare at me like I'm an absolute freak for working in a McDonald's. And I sit there and I edit for 12 hours straight. I'll eat a hamburger and have a coffee, $1 drink days coffee, and I will edit and research and write. And I will do that for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. And then I'll post a documentary. Sometimes it does well. If I'm literally ripping somebody to shreds and the entire documentary is negative, if there's anything positive about it, it won't do well. If I'm sticking to my actual feelings and talking positively about people and honoring their careers, there's nothing terribly entertaining about that. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see you ripping into somebody's chest, taking their heart, squishing it in your hand and throwing it onto the ground and then stepping on it a few times, kind of like a public hanging. And I really am just not into that. I would much rather talk about somebody that has struggled, somebody that has worked their entire life, somebody that has worked their ass off, somebody that has poured their dedication, their heart and soul, their blood, sweat and tears into creating, to add something to the universe, to add something to society, to add something to the human race. But nobody cares anymore. They would much rather see a public hanging than anything else. But I'm like, is any more the right term? Have people ever wanted to see anything other than a public hanging? Hell, we haven't hung people publicly in years. Decades. Centuries even. And yet we're still using that as the reference because people just want to see you crucify somebody. In fact, I get messages all the time. You're too nice. You really need to be more mean. You really need to like dive in and really rip these people to shreds. And I'm like, do I though? Sure, it would be great for content, but would that make me feel better about myself? Would making money off of literally ripping people to shreds make you feel good about yourself? No, but you'd watch it, wouldn't you? You sure would. You sure would.